So if you've ever found yourself scrolling through Temu, you've probably asked the exact same question as millions of other people. Today, we're going to answer it. And let me tell you, the secret behind it all, it's pretty fascinating.
I mean, seriously, how is this even possible? A flashlight for 99 cents? A pair of headphones for $2? It feels like it just breaks the laws of economics. But the secret isn't just some slick business plan. Nope, it's a really radical approach to engineering.
That's right. The key to Temu's wild rock-bottom prices isn't magic. It's a whole series of very deliberate and very different engineering decisions. And today we're going to pull back the curtain and take a look at their blueprint.
Okay, so first things first, let's just try to wrap our heads around the sheer scale of the problem their engineers are dealing with. This isn't some small online shop. It's an absolute global behemoth.
Every single day, over 100 million people are using this app. Now, just think about that. That's a torrent of clicks and searches and purchases that their system has to handle perfectly, all while keeping costs unbelievably low.
So, how do they do it? Well, it all comes down to one core philosophy. A single principle that once you get it, makes everything else just click into place. They call it the good enough approach.
Okay, so this table really lays out the fundamental difference. You've got a traditional platform, right? Think Amazon. They are obsessed with data accuracy, knowing exactly how many widgets are in a warehouse. But then you look at Temu. For them, the absolute #1 priority is user conversion, just getting you to click buy. And they are more than willing to sacrifice perfect inventory accuracy to make that happen. Notice the one thing they don't mess with, payments. That stays rock solid, but everything else is optimized for speed and, closing that sale.
So this good enough philosophy, it's really built on 3 core technical pillars that make the app feel incredibly fast, even with millions and millions of users online. So let's break them down. The first pillar is caching. And really, the easiest way to think about it is like putting a bowl of snacks right on your desk instead of having to walk all the way to the kitchen every time. By storing data closer to you, the app doesn't have to make that long, slow trip to its main database for every little thing.
And I mean, they cache everything. Product details, prices, special discounts, even snapshots of inventory levels. Pretty much everything you see on the screen is being pulled from this super fast nearby storage, not the slow central database way off in the distance.
And this quote, this just perfectly illustrates their whole extreme approach. Reads should almost never hit the database. For Temu's engineers, if a user's action actually requires a real-time database check, they consider that a failure. Something has gone wrong. Which leads us right to the second pillar, which has to solve what sounds like a completely impossible problem. With tons of suppliers all over the globe, how on earth can you know your exact inventory in real time? Well, the simple answer is you don't. So here's how they do it, and this is the really crucial part. They use a best effort system. That inventory number you see is a recent snapshot. It's not a live count. They actually intentionally allow for a small amount of overselling, just to make sure that checkout process is instant. If they run out, they'll just fix it later with a refund. The sale itself is way more important than perfect accuracy.
Okay, now for the third pillar, which takes on another massive challenge. Every single user on Temu sees a slightly different price, right? It's based on your location, promotions, coupons. Now imagine trying to calculate that for 100 million people on the fly. It would be impossibly slow, not to mention incredibly expensive.
So they don't. They use this incredibly clever system that pre-calculates all the possible price combinations before you even open the app. That final price you see is just sitting there in a cache, waiting to be fetched instantly. It gives you the illusion of dynamic pricing, but with the speed of a static number.
Okay, so we have our 3 pillars: aggressive caching, best effort inventory, and pre-computed pricing. So now let's see how this whole blueprint survives the ultimate challenge, a massive global flash sale.
Just imagine it. A new promotion drops, and millions of people all hit that buy button in the very same second. A traditional system would just fall over. It would crash instantly.
Temu's solution is to use message queues. You can think of it like a bouncer at a super popular club. Instead of letting everyone rush the door at once, the queue lines them up and lets them in one by one, all nice and orderly. This system just absorbs that massive spike of orders and feeds them to the database at a pace it can actually handle.
But hold on, what about the database itself? Even with a queue, it still has to process all those orders and check inventory, right? It could still become a major bottleneck.
And here, this is the real genius of the whole system.
Because of that aggressive caching and the best effort inventory, the system rarely even needs to check the database before confirming your order. Those pillars we talked about, they're not just for speed. They are a built-in defense mechanism against being overloaded.
So, when you put it all together, you realize this isn't a poorly designed system. Not at all. It's actually a brilliantly cost-optimized blueprint engineered for a very, very specific goal.
In this quote from the system design analysis just sums it up perfectly. Every single technical decision they make serves this one priority: convert the user by showing them a low price and an available product, instantly.
So let's recap the core techniques in this blueprint, shall we? First, you've got aggressive caching, which makes the whole thing feel instantaneous. Second, asynchronous workflows, like those message queues, to handle those massive traffic spikes. Third, best effort consistency for things like inventory, prioritizing the sale over perfect data. And finally, aggressive pre-computation, so prices are ready to go before you even ask for them.
And this all leads to a final, pretty thought-provoking question. Temu's engineering makes a really clear trade-off: perfect accuracy in exchange for incredible speed and price. And it kind of makes you wonder, what hidden trade-offs are being made for you in all the other apps you use every single day?